hear? It's about to. We're about to start. Y'all ready to go? All right. Okay. All right. All right, Andrew, you ready? Let me. Yes. It's the same link. It's the same link every week. It's the same one. Hey, everybody. We're about to go live. Just so you know. So, thanks for everybody for joining us. We're about to go live in a little bit. Andrew, when you have the link, let me know.
Can I access it from our YouTube channel or no?
You should be able to. I can.
Here we go. Yeah,
You
live
got it.
now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will count us down, and I want to do. I'm just gonna do the the short open. All right. So 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome to a special Wednesday night edition of the Saints Happy Hour podcast. This one is free because of our great sponsor, my bookie. I get asked all sorts of questions about who is to bet on, who you should bet on, who you should bet with. Here's the thing. I don't know who's going to win, but I know where to go to make your bet. The answer is my bookie. Between their live in-game betting, endless props, and fantasy sports wager, there's something for everyone with the best player perks in the sports book business. They've been good to us, and I know they'll be good to you. They're hooking up our listeners all month. Visit mybookie.ag and use the promo code HAPPY25 when creating your account to claim your 50% bonus. Laying down 100, you'll get an extra 50 in play. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code HAPPY25. You play, you win, you get paid. Terms and conditions apply. All right, Andrew. Dave is going to join us in
I'm here.
Dave's here. So we're
All right,
all
I'm
here.
I'm curious. Do you guys hear the tea kettle this time, or are we good?
I
with
do
that?
not hear the tea kettle yet. It could make an appearance later. Here's
I'm
the
in my
thing.
car on my Bluetooth, unfortunately. So
That's perfect. You sound fine, Dave.
You
Here's the
actually
thing.
sound better than me on my Bluetooth. That's for sure.
Here's the thing I said to Andrew, Dave, when we got the first month of the schedule. I said
what
if the
did you say to Andrew? Tell me.
I said
Tell me.
to Andrew, Dave, I said if the NFL and Roger Goodell hated the fucking Saints and they wanted to devise a schedule to murder the Saints season in its crib before it hit October, this is the schedule they would fucking build.
He did say that.
Texans at Rams at Seattle, host Dallas on Sunday night. That is a fucking murderer's row of a first month.
Houston?
Houston was 10-6 and has a top 10 defense.
Okay.
I mean, you that combined schedule is 43 wins in the first four teams.
Well, normally I would say it sucks because, well, I don't know. The Saints really need to, as we've seen, it's always been very crucial. Any season under Sean Payton where the Saints have gone off to a bad start and been able to salvage the season and gone to the playoffs. I mean, usually they'll lose 4-4. So yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. It's tough. Obviously, the Rams or whatever. Let's talk about the Rams in week 2. Let's talk about that. Interesting that the NFL would put the Rams game, the Saints-Rams game, that would be that's going to be a replay of the NFC Championship game. Interesting that they put it at 3:25 and just a regular noon game, not a primetime game, even though the Saints have like 5, 6, whatever primetime games.
I
You,
wasn't.
you didn't even get the best part. The Saints
What?
have to go to the West Coast on a short week because
Right,
they're
yeah.
playing on Monday night the week before.
Right. So I love that. Let's not make that a prime. Let's bury the no call. Let's not talk about it as much as possible. Let's try to put it away. Hopefully nobody notices. It'll just be a regular afternoon game. We don't want it to be on prime time. We don't want everybody to be talking about it. We don't want to make a big deal about it because we fucked up and we know it. We don't want to talk about it because we're babies. Unbelievable! I cannot believe that that
by
is
the
not.
way,
I cannot believe that's not like either the opening game or the Monday night game or Sunday night game. They buried it. They buried that game on purpose.
and by the way, if the Saints are not psyched about going to the West Coast, or if they're thinking about going back to New Orleans after that game, we're just going to go ahead and put at Seattle the next week.
Right. So they're just going to wind up probably staying out there. You think they're going to come back?
They're 100% staying out there. 100%. I would be stunned if they because the thing is that trip to Seattle is so long, right? So it's the flight to LA is what 3.5 hours. The flight to Seattle is almost 5 from New Orleans, probably longer. So I'll be stunned if they're staying out in California for a week, I think, and then going to Seattle. But here's the thing, Dave. I think
we got a Peanuts dad in the chat room. He's listening from Maui.
Wow.
That's where I went to Maui on my honeymoon.
Why are you listening from Maui? It's like 3:00 there.
Maui,
man.
Maui.
I hope he's on the beach. But thanks for listening. We appreciate it. But here's the thing, Dave.
It's also like noon in Hawaii right now.
so
I hope he's drinking a pina colada.
Here's the thing with the Saints. I think it's a little bit of both, Dave. I think the NFL did kind of want to bury the Saints and the Rams. But remember, too, Fox, I believe because of their TV contract, gets to save – they get to pick 5 games for – like Fox says, we want these 5, and primetime, you can't have them. So I believe Fox held that game and said they wanted
Ralph,
it, but
just muted yourself like 5 times in a row there.
Oh, did I? I think that's my connection. But so I just think the NFL, the Fox gets to save 5 games, right? That they don't want to put on prime time. But I think so. Fox kept the game, but I think the NFL moved the game early intentionally to do what Dave said and bury it. Because if that game is like week 10 and the Saints are like 7-3, 8-2, and the Rams are 9-1, it's a huge game, right? And then they just go hog wild on the call. But because it's week 2, I think Dave's right. I don't think it'll be as big a deal the call.
No, they're trying to bury it. They're making it a week. They don't want it week 1 because week 1 is exciting and it's the start of the NFL season. They want it week 2 after the initial buzz of the season has worn off. No one gives a shit about week 2. It's a 3:30 game. It's not prime time, and it's totally going to be buried.
I haven't looked at other teams' schedules, but I could tell you there is not a team that has a harder first month than the Saints. It's not possible. I wouldn't think, because I don't think any team plays 4 straight 10-win teams to start the year, So
let's talk about the Falcons game, Atlanta. Thanksgiving again. Is this becoming like the new Thanksgiving tradition? Is it going to be Cowboys, Lions, and then Saints, Falcons every Thanksgiving? I kind of like it.
I wouldn't mind it. I wasn't stunned, Andrew, that the NFL tried to fuck the Saints out the gate. But I was stunned that the Saints Falcons was on Thanksgiving again. Like that stunned me.
Crazy.
Especially because the Thanksgiving game was not that great this past year. It's an exciting rivalry, and normally that game is good, but it's not like Saints Falcons in New Orleans was so amazing that it was like, oh, we should do this again. But maybe the ratings were good. Maybe they decided, hey, we should do it again.
It's football. Yeah. The ratings were amazing, I'm sure. Here's the thing that me personally, I wish the Saints started every year and ended every year with the Falcons, because when you start the year with the Falcons, we get to talk shit to them all summer. It makes the opening game really exciting. And then when you play them in the season finale, no matter how your season has gone, you're excited for the last game of the year, because you're like, well, even though we can't go to the playoffs or whatever, we got to fucking beat Atlanta to wrap this thing up on a good note. So I wish every year the Saints would open and close with Atlanta. Where it is, I wouldn't really matter. They could alternate it every year, but that's how I wish the Saints Falcons series would go. Um, Andrew, is there anything else that caught your eye about the schedule besides the brutal start?
Um, I like the buy. I like the buy placement. So that actually felt really good. I feel like week
Wait,
eight.
where's the buy? Where is it?
Week eight. So it's like
Right in the
snap
middle.
dab in the middle of the season, and I did feel like that was kind of a needed rest. But too often the Saints buy is early in the season, like week 5, week 6, and so this felt a little later in the year, which I liked. I was really nervous about going to Chicago later in the year, so I was also very relieved to see that's happening on October 20th. So the coldest game the Saints will have, I mean, really after the bye, they only have 4 road games, and one of them's at Tampa and one of them's at Atlanta in a dome. So really at Tennessee on December 22nd and at Carolina on December 29th. Those are their 2 cold games to
Yep.
finish the season. I'm not psyched about that because I always go home for Christmas, and usually if there's 2 home games during Christmas time, then I make both. So that really sucks because this year the December 22nd and December 29th games are both on the road.
Well, the opening game Monday night, it's Houston, so it'll be fun for me because I live in Houston. Not that, I mean, it's in New Orleans, but just the Saints Texans will be fun. Hopefully the Saints will win and I can talk shit. But it sucks that it's on Monday night, because then it makes it really hard for me to go since I live in Houston. And I don't like that 6 o'clock. It's gonna what? It's a 6 o'clock kickoff, right, Dave? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the first of the 2 opening
6:10.
weekend
Ugh.
Monday night games.
Well, my
Because
son
then
will
they'll
be
have a
happy
second
about
Monday
that.
night game. They'll have a second Monday night game on the West Coast after that.
That's
We
gonna be
Well,
brutal
so
getting
I'm
to the
gonna need
game
to
with the
figure out what
traffic.
games I'm gonna go to. My wife's
My wife.
my wife's brother is getting
My
married
wife.
A little late on
October
that one, buddy.
Yeah,
A
no.
little late on that one.
October 19th. He's getting married, so I'm gonna have to find a bar in Austin, Texas, to watch the Chicago Bears game. But at least that's on the road. I'm thinking about going back on November the 10th for Saints
That's
Falcons.
the day before my birthday.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. Looking at this Saints schedule, I'll have to see. You know,
My wife.
since she's a wedding planner, what her wedding schedule will look like in the fall. Um, but I'd love to go to Dallas. If Arizona picks Kyler Murray, I will probably try to attend that game just because he interests me to play. Atlanta Sunday at noon. That's probably the one that I'll definitely go to.
Yeah, I'm going to that one.
So I
You're talking
mean,
about November 10, right?
yeah, I mean they have the good thing for the Saints. A lot of their home games. I mean, I know they're I mean, they have 3 primetime games at home: Houston, Dallas, and the Colts, right? But last year, man, they had a lot of 3 p.m. kickoffs, which, if you're traveling to the game, the 3 p.m. kickoff makes it very difficult to get a flight
To
out
fly
if
back, yeah.
you need to work on Monday. So I'm very excited that they have a lot of 12 p.m. kickoffs. Now, Flex can, of course, screw that up, but I look at their games late in the year for flex possibilities. I mean, I guess it could, but I mean, San Francisco's not going to be any good. I think Carolina is going to be any good. So I don't see the potential for flex for games getting flexed maybe into prime time. But I guess Dave, they do flexes where they'll move a game to prime time and then they'll move a 12 game to 3. So I guess that could still happen.
I have a
Yeah.
couple comments. So I'm looking at the chat real quick, and a couple guys corrected us. The brown bag and ninja coordinator. Our bye week is week 9, not week 8. So even better. Snap dab
Yeah,
in the
that is
middle of the
even better.
year. Yeah. A couple of them. Let's see. Ninja coordinator asked, "How would you feel about 4-4 going into the bye?" I would expect a better record than that. I'd be disappointed in that. But what I will tell you is those first 4 games. We just mentioned how tough they are, and Ralph and I were talking about this earlier. I really feel like the Saints have to go 2-2. If they go 2-2 in those first 4 games, then I feel really good about how the season goes. If they go 3-1 or 4-0, then I mean, they'll be hosting a playoff game. 2-2, still everything to play for, but it's so tough that the Saints have this bad habit with Sean Payton of playing poorly in week 1, and I'm nervous about 1-3
They
because
haven't won a
then,
season opener in 5 years. The last season
yeah,
opener they won was
yeah.
Atlanta 2013.
I just feel like 1-3, it's an uphill battle, and then they're chasing a wild card at best.
They go 1-3, then the best case scenario for them, Dave, is going to be 9-7, 10-6, and you're going to be either fighting your way for the 5-6 seed, or you're going to be the 4 seed in a crappy division because
Just
the
threw
NFC
up a
South
little
will be
bit in my mouth.
I
Now,
mean,
I will say this: like we're all complaining about the schedule, and I feel like we do that every year. Um, and
last year
it's
we didn't
fair.
know. Last year we were like
No,
Tampa to
remember we were
start,
like, man,
Cleveland, the
it's so easy.
Giants, man.
It's so easy to start,
It's a
but
layup
man,
line.
we better start 3-1 because it gets so hard. Remember we were complaining about that. But here is what I want to say about the schedule. If you look at Tampa, okay, you think we're complaining? Tampa has a home game on September 22nd. They don't play at home again until November 10th after that.
What the
They are
hell?
not at home from September 22nd to November 10th. Listen to
What?
this. At Rams, at New Orleans, against Carolina, in London, bye week, at Tennessee, at Seattle.
That sucks. And you know what? That
It's 6 weeks in a row. I mean, one is the bye, but the other 5 are on the road with 2 on the West Coast and 1 in London.
I mean, that's bad. That's also bad for like ticket sales because even though your home games are at the end of the year, right? Um, you
It's Tampa.
it's Tampa, and they'll be their season could be shot, and then
You mean their season will be shot?
their season will be shot and their stadium will
Yeah.
be empty.
Yeah.
They were literally giving away free tickets to their season ticket holders last year. They were like, "Hey, you're a season ticket holder. You have 2 season tickets. Here's 2 free tickets to the next game." Like
It
that's how
sounds like they'll
desperate.
be doing that again. Sounds like
Yeah.
they'll be offering 4 free tickets this time.
So Dave had to run, but I mean, what do we have in the chat room as far as questions, Andrew? I mean, Dave. I mean, Andrew. Sorry, I'm really confused tonight.
In the chat room?
Yeah, in the YouTubes.
Not too many questions. We're getting a lot of comments. Although we have 18 people watching now. So yeah, if you're in the chat, I mean, we're looking to answer some questions. So
Yeah,
drop us.
and listen to this. You know, we're doing more stuff on the YouTube channel. Me and Andrew are trying to come up with some concepts where we'll be doing shorter videos, but we've got a ton of stuff on the YouTube channel. Go there. Thanks to almost 400 people that tuned in to the podcast through about 120 something listened live to a part of it when we live streamed it, but it's almost to 400 on the YouTube channel. So you find us on YouTube if that's how you want to consume the podcast. Find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter. We're everywhere.
All right, we got a couple comments here. Early Hour Bandit, he makes the comment that the Indy game is intriguing as hell. That one's interesting because it's a nationally televised game, and on some level, I'm not sure I get it. Andrew Luck versus Drew Brees, I guess, and it was a former Super Bowl matchup, but I don't know. Like that's just not really a rivalry. It's just kind of a token AFC versus NFC. So I agree
Well,
that it's intriguing.
I guess the thing is for ESPN when they try to pick those late season games, like I said, look, you know,
They want teams in the mix.
they want,
Yeah.
Fox gets to pick the games they want, and then CBS gets to pick the games they want, and then Monday Night Football and NBC fight over them, and they have certain picks. But if you pick that game in December, the thinking for ESPN is one, it's Drew Brees and Andrew Luck. So
We feel
that's
pretty
compelling.
good. That's going to be a
That's
competitive
compelling.
game.
But
Yeah.
worst case scenario, one of them is in the playoff hunt, one of them is out of the playoff hunt, even if injuries or whatever happens. So it still could be a relevant game. The odds of it being two dog shit 6-9 teams is unlikely. Um, Whereas, like, if I haven't looked at how many primetime games the Browns have, but the Browns, even though they have this loaded roster, they have the young quarterback, and they're going to be the hot, trendy team, like, they're still the fucking Browns, right? So
Yeah.
things could go off the rails. So you would be hesitant to, like, put the Browns and Tampa or the Browns and Carolina in primetime because you know that the wheels could come off, right? So I think that's the reason. I like the back half of the schedule, though, Andrew. I look at it and I just see, after the bye, you get Atlanta at home, you go to Tampa, you get Carolina at home, then you go to Atlanta, you get San Francisco. I mean, that's a stretch following the bye, 3-2, 4-1. I mean, I personally, like I said when Dave was with us, I look at Carolina. I think Carolina's in decline. I think we're starting to see the end of Cam Newton in that I don't. And look, you know me, Andrew. I'm like you. I hate Cam Newton. He's one of the players for this in the Saints division I love to hate. He's annoying and all that, but he's been very good. And when he's on, he's on, like in that playoff game, he can be on fire and he's terrifying. But I just think when you look at his physical skills and the way he plays, I think his decline, Andrew, is going to be rapid. I don't think he's going to be like most quarterbacks in 2019 where they age gracefully because you can't hit them and they throw the ball away. Cam Newton, I think he's going to be a guy where he's just going to be like, it's gonna be over, and it's gonna be like, damn, it's over, and he's 30, and he's not that old. I think he's gonna be that guy, and I think his decline has started. We'll play this tape back if they're like 8-1 in the middle of the year, and y'all can laugh at me. But that's what I think. I'm actually more intrigued in the NFC South. I know you said their schedule's terrible, but Tampa, I think Bruce Arians is a really good coach. I'll be interested to see if he can pull Jameis Winston up to above mediocre.
I don't see it happening. I agree with you that he's a good coach, but I am not a Jameis Winston believer.
I'm not a believer either. I just know that like Bruce Arians is
I just think it starts between the ears, not with your physical talent, and I just don't think he has it. I really don't. But yeah, we got a few more questions. Let's see. Ninja Coordinator wants to know, who do we pick to have on the current roster to have a breakout year? Dave, you got somebody you like?
Well, David had to hit it.
Oh, he's a goner. Okay.
I'm gonna say he was the darling last year of training camp, and he was the darling early. But then he got hurt and sort of went into the witness protection program. Traquan Smith is a guy. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think he's a potential guy that can catch 50 to 60 balls. He was really starting to come around. He caught a bunch of balls. He caught the pass that literally broke the record for Drew Brees. He was rolling. They were throwing him balls, but he got hurt. And a lot of times, we think, oh, it's an injury and he he's trying to practice and then he's inactive and all this. But a lot of times I find rookies have a hard time dealing with injuries because maybe they haven't had them in their career before in college or whatever, and they don't know how to deal with them, and it becomes a harder process. I think with him, he can be better. I think he's got the physical skills, and he's training with Michael Thomas. I think that's a good thing because Michael Thomas, say whatever you want about him, the dude works like a madman. He wants to be a star. He wants his $100 million contract, and I think Traquan Smith being around that will be a positive. So if I had to pick one, I'll pick him.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see. Trotter Nation 79 wants to know, will we finally win the first game this year? How do you feel about that Monday night against the Texans?
I mean, my thing with the Texans is, and I probably watch them more so than most Saints fans because I'm in Houston. The thing about the Texans, their defense is good, but they lost a lot of people in the secondary. They sort of did it. They lost Tyrann Mathieu. They got the corner from Denver, he was injured a bit, but when he's healthy, he's good. They don't really have a good running game. I don't think Bill O'Brien is a good coach, and Deshaun Watson can be very good, and he kind of runs hot and cold. But the Texans' offense, it's not really that well designed, I don't think. And a lot of times last year, it devolved into, hey, Deshaun, go do something. Save us, And they design runs for him. It's almost like when you play in the PlayStation, Andrew, and you have that one play and you just mash the buttons to get the first down, on the run and play. That's kind of what the Texans do. And they had who's the receiver that just signed with New England that was with Denver that was really good?
Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas. They had him, and he was actually coming on, but then he got hurt and was out for the year. I just look at the Texans. They are they're 10-6, but they're not. To me, they're not nearly as good roster-wise as the Colts. But Deshaun Watson, I hate to compare him to Fitzpatrick because he's been to the playoffs and he's won a national championship and that sort of thing. But he's a guy, man. He's in that same sort of run hot cold, and he's a guy that he could roast the Saints secondary. So I mean,
my thing is this is going to be a big test out of the gate for Marshawn Lattimore. I thought he kind of came maybe a little complacent into the season last year, and he's going to need a good offseason, and he's going to need to come correct the first week of the season because that obviously that's as tough as the test as he'll get all year against DeAndre, and I'm hoping for a big bounce back year from him, and it's going to start week 1. I think if he plays well and he can neutralize Hopkins, then I think that's a game the Saints win.
I mean,
let's see. Romeo Della Santa asks, have you ever seen 4 division games in a row before? I have to say, I have never seen that.
No.
It's kind of crazy.
I have never. I maybe it's happened. I can't remember it. It's crazy. I mean, you're gonna have basically, no matter sort of where the Saints are coming out of that bye, whether they're 4-4 or 6-2 or 7-1 or whatever, after that bye, those next 4 weeks are going to decide where they are in the NFC South. That's just how it's going to be. If they come out, and even if they're 4-4, they rock it and go 3-1, they'll be right back in it, maybe on the top. They go into the bye 6-2 and come out and go 1-3 in those 4 or 2-2. It sort of will it'll open it back up, and maybe teams can catch them. I mean, that's gonna decide that division. Not necessarily for the other teams, because obviously they probably won't be playing 4 straight division games. But for the Saints, that stretch in November, that's going to decide what happens for them in the NFC South, most likely,
Yeah, Romeo Della Santa also asks, if Jared Cook has an above-average season, will the offense finish number 1? I don't see that happening, Romeo. I think when you look at the Saints and what they've done this offseason offensively, I mean, Breeze is a year older. You replace Mark Ingram with Latavius Murray. I think that's a lateral move.
Tell the people, you were drinking at a bar tonight, spewing negativity via text message at me for a good 30 minutes. You were saying the offensive line is shot. Easton is trash. You were down in the dumps. Don't lie to the people. You were like
schedule. I saw the schedule and I got a little sad because I'm like, man, we're attacking the schedule with Latavius Murray instead of Mark Ingram. And Max Unger is gone, and Cook is a nice addition, but he's 32 years old, man. I mean, yes, he's an upgraded tight end, but that's not really saying much. I mean, tight end was a wasteland for the Saints last year. So I think the offense will be top 10. I think it'll stay top 10. I definitely don't think it'll be number one.
The one silver line, and look, me, they used to call me Ralph Saint Doom, because I was always dooms and negative. But I felt like between 2014, 15, and 16, like being negative, like it was totally warranted. But I'm gonna spin the first 4 games. If you want to spin it as a positive, which you got to do, right? You want to be it's the middle of April. We want to be positive. The good thing is, Andrew, if they can get through the off season, if they can get through training camp with minimal injuries, to have all the big dogs of their schedule pretty much it's front loaded. If you said the schedule and you said pick out the best teams, I would say the Rams, Seattle, Dallas, and I would probably say Houston, even above Atlanta and Carolina, and maybe the only other one that's close would be the Colts, right? So the front loading of the schedule, if they can get to week 1 pretty healthy, to play all the big teams early before the injuries hit and attrition hits could be a positive thing, because when all these, like the Saints hit after November last year where they were beat up and you have offensive line injuries and all that sort of things, maybe it's better to go to Seattle week 3 when it's more likely your offensive line is healthy than November 28th, right? So
Yeah.
that's the only silver lining I can take of, hey, they're playing the best, they're playing the hardest part of their schedule in September, so there's a good. Maybe there's better odds of them being healthy.
All right, we got a bunch of questions, so
Okay.
give me 1-sentence answers, okay? I'm
Okay.
gonna spit 3 quickly at you. We need to catch up. So, let's see. Justin Bruce asks, is Traquan Smith better on the boundary? Do y'all like Meredith in the slot, or could we use a jump from Kirkwood, Carr, or a rookie there? So
You're the film guy. You answer that.
He's asking a general receiver question, and I would just say, Michael Thomas is going to do his thing, but I think it's fair to assume that Ginn is only going backwards. So whether it's Traquan, Kirkwood, or Traquan, Traquan, Kirkwood, or Meredith, I really think 2 of those 3 really need to step up and be good this year. And that may be too much to ask, but I think the offense is in trouble if 2 of those 3 can't give us something.
I'm going to give a sizzling hot take right now. Ted Ginn's not going to make the 53
because of injury.
Because I think
someone outplays him.
I think he's gonna be nicked, and he's gonna start slow in the preseason, and he's not gonna make it. Like the Saints will injury settlement or whatever with him.
Early Hour Bandit wants to know: is Drew done after this year?
I say yes. I mean, because to me, I just can't see Drew Brees wanting to go somewhere and start over and learn a complete new playbook. And also, too, if he goes somewhere else, I'm not certain that he's going to be making $20-25 million. And is he going to go to Denver, right? If, say, Flacco bombs or whatever, is he going to go to Denver and play for $12 million? Maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I think this is it. I mean, we'll see. I think Breeze is taking it year to year. I think if the Saints go 7-9, or they don't make the playoffs, then it's over for sure. If they make the playoffs but don't win the Super Bowl, yeah, it would depend. But I don't know. I think he's taking it year to year. All right, Ralph, let's run the air horn or the gong. I'm gonna go game by game. Give me your quick 10-second assessment of each game, and I want win-loss, and then we'll count the record. At home Monday night against the Texans.
Saints win. Deshaun Watson is terrible.
At Rams.
Saints win. Look amazing.
At Seahawks.
Saints lose. Drew Brees looks atrocious, and the arm truthers come out in full force.
At home against Dallas.
Saints win. Drew looks kind of meh.
Okay, so 3-1, which is, as we talked about earlier, if you get through that 3-1, we're feeling good. Tampa at home.
Win. Saints give one of their A+ performances.
Okay, 4-1 at Jacksonville.
Drew Brees looks bad again. Loss.
All right, 4-2 at Chicago.
Drew Brees looks bad again.
Loss.
Loss.
All right, 4-3 hosting Arizona.
Saints win. Drew Brees looks okay, but he's putting up the worst stats of his career. And we
This
get
is dark.
we get 2 weeks of the Saints are 5-3, but my God, Drew Brees looks not great. The Saints are not a serious Super Bowl contender.
All right, so 5-3 off of a bye hosting Atlanta.
Saints win. Drew Brees looks fucking amazing. Not only that, on the Monday after, Dan Quinn gets fired.
Oh my God. You just went from dark to the most amazing season of my life.
Yes.
At Tampa.
Saints win. Taysom Hill scores a touchdown on a kick return and a punt block.
Saints host Carolina at 7-3.
Win.
All right, so they're really rolling now.
They're really rolling now.
Going into Thanksgiving against the Falcons in Atlanta.
Saints lose to whatever interim coach Atlanta has, and it's the highlight of Atlanta's season because weird shit happens at the end, like a Hail Mary or something, and it's the highlight of Atlanta's year, but they're like 3-8 or whatever. And they torment us for a couple of days on the Twitters, but we get over it because the Saints are still okay.
All right, 8-4 hosting the Niners.
Win.
9-4 hosting the Colts.
Loss.
On Sunday night.
Loss.
9-5.
Andrew Luck lights up a sort of beat up Saints defense.
9-5 at Tennessee.
A win, but barely. But the Saints defense is getting healthy, but Drew Brees is still kind of shaky.
10-5 last game of the year at Carolina.
The Saints lose at Carolina, and it costs them a bye, and it slides them to the 4 seed.
So you're going 10-6, 4 seeds still win the division.
Yes.
All right.
I think the Saints. I think Andrew, their roster is still amazing. They're still deep, but I just think to churn out 13-3 back-to-back years is really, really fucking hard. And I just think they're going to have regression and they're going to have injuries at spots, and their depth and their awesome roster is going to pull them through, and they're still going to be fun and they're still going to be great. And they'll get to 10-6. It's just going to depend on their health and their playoff draw to see how it goes. But to go 11, 13, and 13 in a 3-year stretch. I know they've done it before in 2009, 10, and 11, but Jesus Christ, it's difficult. What do you see before we get out of here?
You want me to go game by game, or you want me to just give you my overall?
I'll go game by you. Houston Texans.
I think the Saints come out of the gates looking good. I think they'll take that game seriously. They know their beginning of their schedule's tough, so yeah, they take care of business there.
Texans. I mean, Rams.
Yeah, I just feel like this is karma. Saints blow them out.
All right, at Seattle.
I think Russell Wilson is fat and happy with his new contract, announcing it in bed with Ciara or whatever her name is.
With a completely different voice than he normally has.
Yeah, I feel like the 5 picks he's going to throw in this game at home are really going to hurt with that new contract and how much cap he's absorbing. Saints upset win.
All right, Dallas at home on primetime.
I think Dallas comes into this game 1-2. Amari Cooper is hurt. They score 3 points and lose 27-3.
Oh my God, 4-0 on this schedule, man. I think the podcast would be amazing. Tampa Bay at home.
Jameis Winston is benched at halftime after throwing 3 picks. Saints win by 40.
Oh my God. At Jacksonville.
Drew Brees looks like trash. He's sacked 8 times. The offensive line is terrible. Saints win 3-0.
At Chicago.
Mickey Loomis runs into the press box and pantses Ryan Pace in front of all of the executives. And it kind of foreshadows the rest of the game. Saints win by 12.
Arizona at home.
Kyler Murray gets his leg broken by – actually, he gets his Achilles torn in half by Sheldon Rankins, ironically. Saints win by 17.
Week off, and then they host Atlanta.
So what are we, 8-0 at this point?
We're 8-0.
Yeah, Ralph and I both go to the game, which at this point we're 8-0. We're walking on water. Nothing could go wrong. And the Saints lose on a last-second field goal.
Oh, I thought you were going to go
Falcons.
I thought you were going to go 16-0 at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Tampa's terrible. Jameis is done. The experiment with what's the coach's name again?
Bruce Arians. He's putting Ryan Griffin.
It's a disaster. There's 4 fans at the game, and they're all Saints fans. Saints blowout win.
I love it. Carolina hosting.
Cam Newton is benched. They're rolling with Derek Anderson at quarterback, and they lose by 21.
At Atlanta, Thanksgiving night.
Yeah, so the Saints are furious about their loss to Atlanta. It's payback time. Matt Ryan is sacked 74 times. Julio Jones is escorted out of the building at halftime for fear of his life because he's had so many headshots.
The hype train. Andrew, that happens. The hype train will be rolling. San Francisco at home.
I'm going to say Garoppolo throws a couple touchdown passes late to make it interesting. Saints win by a 2-point conversion at the end.
Colts at home Monday night.
Yeah, I'm with you. Andrew Luck pulls that off.
Okay, so that's 12-2. Tennessee at Tennessee.
I think they lose at Tennessee.
All right, 12-3 at Carolina.
Cam Newton's career is done. He's speared. He is sandwiched by Cam Jordan and Davenport.
Crazy pills.
Davenport and Jordan crush Cam Newton, and he's never the same. 13-3, and Saints get the number 1 seed. And the first game is they host the Rams, and on the last play of the game, the Rams make the game-winning field goal, except it's called back for a phantom false start. They kick again. It's good again, but there's a flag for holding, and then they kick it a third time, and it's no good, and the Saints keep them.
and McVay's head explodes, and he's just crying after the game, saying the NFL fixed it for the Saints.
Yep.
I loved it. I love the fact that your season preview was 1,000 times funnier than mine. I feel like I have accomplished my goal. I've turned all of you people on this podcast, you go nothing but for the jokes. I feel like it's my proudest moment ever. So before we get out of here, because this episode would normally be for patrons only, but because of SeatGeek, because of SeatGeek, we're able to give it to you free. I'd like to take a minute to talk about our friends at SeatGeek. Let them take the confusion out of your ticket buying experience. Instead of shopping dozens of sites to find the best deal, let SeatGeek do the work for you. The app scans the web for the best deals to your favorite games, concerts, or shows, and rates them on a scale of 0 to 10 to let you know if you were getting the best bang for your buck. A green dot marks a great deal. Yellow dot means a good deal. Red dot means not so great. Use the promo code ACAA at checkout to receive $20 off your first purchase. That's 2 free beers at the stadium on SeatGeek. What are you waiting for? The promo code ACAA for $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, life's an event. We have the tickets. Because we did ads on this one, Andrew, it's free, but people should sign up on Patreon. It's $7 a month. We give you a Saints podcast every day. It's amazing. Sign up on Patreon by April 1st. You get a free beer koozie. Do it now. It's amazing. The schedule, Andrew, I feel like the schedule release really this year I'm more excited about that than the draft because the Saints have no picks.
Yeah.
And this is really gonna it's like giving me juice and helping me get through the dull period and getting me fired up for July getting here.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand people getting worked up, but first of all, it's important to remember, look, Jared Goff blows out his knee in week 1, and I mean, the second game is completely different. So we don't know what any of these games are going to be like. And right now it seems like it's really tough the first 4 weeks, but you just don't know what kind of state a team is in out of training camp, kind of injuries they have, how the chemistry is going. Every team is different year to year. I mean, every year we think we know what we're going to see.
We thought last year the schedule set up good to start. The first 2 weeks they lost to Tampa at home. They should have lost to Cleveland. Let's be real. In 2017, we thought the schedule was a disaster. We thought it was going to be so hard. They played at Minnesota and at New England, and it went like we thought. But then Ryan Tannehill had gotten hurt for the Dolphins, so they got to play Jay Cutler in London, right? Then they come home and they went to Carolina and won. Then they got Jay Cutler at London, right? And then they played Detroit. Detroit was beat to hell on the offensive line. Stafford had injuries. Then the next week they play Green Bay. Oh, by the way, Aaron Rodgers got carted off the week before. So like the schedule for the Saints in 2017, it looked very difficult at the beginning, but it fell like exactly perfect for them. So you just don't know.
You don't know. Yep.
How it's going to go. The thing about the opening for the first month is the thing that makes me know that it's going to be difficult is all 4 of those teams have really good quarterbacks, and they're not all going to be hurt, so that makes it really difficult. But like I said in my prediction, this Saints roster
is Dak Prescott good if he doesn't have Cooper though?
I don't think Dak Prescott is that good with Cooper. Like, good luck to Dallas paying him.
You just said the first 4 games were very good quarterbacks, or did you say the first 3?
Well, you don't have like a rookie, or I would say Dak is like the 14th best quarterback in the NFL, 12th. Like you don't have like a rookie or even Chicago's Trubisky. You don't have a crummy quarterback like sandwiched in there where you like know that if the Saints play good defense, they're going to be fine. So that's the concern there. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I've said it. I'll say it again. I really feel like it all starts with week 1 against the Texans and Marshawn Lattimore. To me, he's the key. If he comes into this offseason more motivated, playing better, and doesn't get a little complacent like I felt like he was last year, and he neutralizes Hopkins, I feel like it gets the season off to a good start, and the Saints will be fine.
Yeah, and, too, opening on Monday night, fans will probably take a PTO day Monday, get nice and drunk. People will still be fired the fuck up about getting screwed in the NFC Championship game. I think there'll be a carryover. I think the Dome will be really, really raucous on Monday night. So hopefully that can carry them and get them off to a good start. Because the last couple of years, it's the opening of the season, but nobody was really super pumped about Tampa, right? So I think the atmosphere will be electric that first Monday night game, and hopefully that'll help them. So look, you got a special Wednesday night podcast. You should become a patron and so you can get the podcast every single day. But for Dave, for Andrew, until next week, the bar is closed.
So November 10th, we doing it?
Yep.
Falcons?
Yeah, I will almost assuredly be doing November 10th.
I'm thinking about Cowboys on the 29th also.
I mean, The thing for me is, um, what's that? What
Yeah, I
did
was
my
thinking about.
wife? My
Oh,
wife. What did you say about November 10th? Oh, so I won't be a wedding. What?
come on. God.
Ah. I might. You know what, Andrew? What I might do is I might just book a
It's just
flight.
the biggest day of a bride's life. Who cares?
No, what I'll do is I'll just roll the dice and book a flight for like 7 in the morning on Sunday,
Mm.
or I could, you know, that's what
Yeah, I
I'll
like
do.
that.
I
For Houston? Oh, sorry, for
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay.
And I may. Well, the thing is, I want to go. I want to go to Dallas, but the thing is, my company they keep bumping back this website launch. This website launch, and supposedly it's September. So I just
Mm.
don't think that I'll have to see. But I would love to go to Dallas. And if we weren't launching this website, I would just tell my boss. I'd be like, hey, I want to work from home Monday, and she would be like, that's fine. And I would just like fly. I would just uh, work from New
Your
Orleans on
mom's
Monday.
house. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, work from New Orleans and my mom's house, and then go back Tuesday. Take a early flight back Tuesday, and do my normal work from home on Tuesday too, or go to the office, whatever. But with the website launch, that makes it dicey. So if I had to look at it, I'll probably be going to Atlanta, and then um, Arizona because it's a 12 o'clock game, and then maybe one other one, like a random one, like San Francisco or that, you
Cool.
know. So
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, the Indianapolis one's kind of interesting too.
yeah, I mean that's a Monday night one though. So hey, I had a question. I was talking to Dave about getting like a tumbler made with the logo, and he can do it for like $10. But what do you think? And if you don't like this idea, it's fine. But I want to do a special giveaway between the draft and the season starts. And this was my idea:
Do you
is
want our listeners to be listening to this right now, by the way?
oh
Because we're still live.
oh yeah, we're still
Thanks, Early Bandit, for letting me
thanks
know.
guys. We're gonna go now. Sorry.